Hey, what's up? It's Mr. Leonidas here, and as you can tell, doing some advertising for a friend of mine. You should check out his website. He's got some really awesome stuff. But I am making some primitive tools, or actually primitive weapons. Gonna be making a spear from DKV, my buddy Dane, and all I'm gonna use is a knife and some artificial sinew, and we're gonna get that going. All right, we're out here looking for a good long straight tree. Because really, like when you're gonna make a spear or something like that, I'm gonna say you're gonna need fresher wood or like a sapling, and then most of the limbs that are on trees are usually just too high and it's too dangerous to get. So really, what you're gonna want is like a harder wood. We believe this is like a variant of like an elm, and this is about as straight as we're gonna have it. I'm not gonna get a fire going or anything because well, with a fire you could get some of the bends out while it's still fresh. But really, I think for this spear, I think you can't ask for much of a straighter tree. I'm going to be using my one of my best friends is the TOPS Armageddon. I'm going to be using this just to kind of show you that there's a lot of like projects and bushcraft you can do with such a large knife. It really you really can't. For me, once you get to learn how to use it, and the benefits of this knife are really endless. So basically, I'm just going to harvest as much as I can from the tree. I'm just going to hit at the base and okay, as you can see, it's going to be getting ready for a spear. And kind of the rule of thumb with spears is you want it to be taller or higher than your eyes. If you slip and fall, you're not going to go face first into your own weapon. I'll go with eye level on myself. Okay, and basically got my spear. And if you intend this for throwing, probably going to want to put the bit on the heavy end. And I'm not going to skin this piece of wood. I'm probably going to leave the bark on for honestly, probably for the grip. But I will clean off the knots. Okay, now that I've decided on which end I'm going to use, the heavier one, I am going to have to I'm going to kind of draw this or plane it to kind of smooth it out, make sure like when I tie it, it's going to be on a really solid surface and not just the bark. And so I'm just gonna. That's why using a long blade knife like this is just an asset, because it makes things like planing a breeze. And I'm only going to do about 6 inches or so. When you draw, you can go towards yourself too. Especially if you're doing it like I am with your boot. Alright, and basically to fit this spear, I've been kind of slimming it down, and I honestly think I'm going to leave it a little bit rectangular for the grip. And man, having a knife like this for a project like this, time-wise, is critical, I think. Really, I'm gonna slim it down a little bit more, but man, I'm not even hardly trying. I might make a few notches down the sides, or just kind of honestly kind of rough it up. Okay, got it kind of roughed up, and then that'll be great for when I tie it with the sinew. It's going to have more grip. Okay, and I've got my artificial sinew. I don't know how many yards this was. I think it was somewhere between 80 to 100 yards. And the test on the artificial is somewhere like the strength is, I think, somewhere between 80 to 120 pound test or something like that. I'm not totally sure, but I know that sinew and then the artificial is really great stuff to work with. I've heard good things about artificial sinew, and that's why I'm using it today, and because unfortunately I wasn't able to get hold of any the actual sinew. But really all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to wrap the bottom here of so when I split it, it's not going to split any further than this part, and that'll basically make the spear hold together well, or a whole lot better. And I'm going to get it as tightly as I can. I'll probably do about half an inch or so. And I've never actually made one this fashion, but I thought it would be a really good idea to basically help with, like, because when you start splitting a piece of wood like this, if you don't tie it off, it can tend to even a hardwood, especially if it's dry. Now this is fresh, it's not going to split as easily, but if it's dry wood, it's going to kind of get away from you, and that can be kind of a problem. So, and you can tell like how this looks. I mean, I'm loving how that looks. That looks like real sinew. It's great. And honestly, I'm probably going to double over that. I've got plenty here today, so I'm not really gonna worry about wasting it. It's not really wasting it. And we're gonna see how this works. All right, so now I'm ready to make the split or the wedge, and basically I'm going to split it the short ways versus the long ways because of the size of the bit of the arrowhead. And I recommend getting a piece of wood to baton with. This is where batoning actually really comes in handy. And really, let's see, you can tell like where I split. I mean, it hasn't made it there yet, but I really feel like what I did tying it off there really helped. And I'm going to get it definitely far enough to where I feel like I could wedge that bit. And this is going to be how the spear is going to kind of look once it's set in there. So that'll be the next step. All right, now comes actually I think is going to be the toughest part, is getting this in that little slit, because I want the tension of the wood against this. This is gonna be paramount to holding my bit in the actual spear. So what my plan is to use my knife as part of the wedge. I think you could also maybe put get a piece of wood in the very bottom of the split and wedge that open, and then maybe possibly remove it. And I'm sure there's many more. There's several more methods. This is the best one I can think of. It's sort of a pry bar method. And so I'm just going to kind of use my knife, since it's very long. I'm going to kind of stand here, and you can tell I've got a glove on. I've got the tip in there. I mean, I could face it the other direction. I'm not going to mess with it now. But as you can tell, I'm getting kind of a pry bar effect as I kind of crank the spear. And now I'm just going to simply slide it in. Okay, let's see. And nick the blade probably a little, but that's that. I got it in. And as you can tell, front to back, it's in there really well. And this is exactly what I wanted, was the notches to be poking out of the sides. That's great, because that means when I wrap it, that's gonna catch. I've got the spear point set. It's pretty exciting. And now I'm just gonna wrap it, and I'm going to start where the notches are and get it really set really well. And I don't think I'm going to overdo it. I really don't think it's going to take that much to get it set well. Let's see. And I'm probably going to go over the bottom of the actual. Hopefully it won't. Probably going to go over the middle section. Okay, as you can see, I've definitely been smothering it so far. I just want to make sure I'm going to get a really tight fit, and so far I'd say it's pretty great. I'm just going to lightly finish up the rest of it, just for looks and really like maintaining the tension of the blade in there also is going to also help keep it in there, not just the pure wrapping. The tension is what also helps it. Okay, so I finalized the spear, and I was just going to show off. That was the sinew I used, the artificial, plenty of it. And then I used my. This is all I used. This was my tool. This was what was kind of like my glue. All finalized. And front to back, no movement, side to side, a little wiggle. I could have gone out further, but really, like, there's really not much of the blade, you know. I have left, it's about a 3-inch blade of protruding from the shaft of the spear. But overall, I'm about 6'2". So this is about a 6-foot long spear. So this is a good size. And thanks goes to Dane for providing the napped head. I think it looks great, man. And I think it looks good in the spear. And I may end up skinning the rest of the spear off, but probably not today. So that was actually more work than I realized. It seems really simple, but there's just a lot of steps that you really have to pay attention to, and kind of if you want to get it to turn out right. All right, so Dane, I decided to check out the strength of the actual the stone blade, and then the craftsmanship of the actual spear. So just simple cardboard, nothing too strenuous on this. I'm just gonna go some jabs, some thrusts. Okay. Blade still. Wow, I'm pretty pumped about that, actually. All right, gonna throw it from 10 yards away. So never really thrown a spear. Let's check it out. It's actually pretty heavy, I have to say. Pretty heavy. Let's check out the damage. All right, so spear's good to go. I'm gonna try it again. Yeah. All right, check that penetrating power. Okay, I'm done with the testing for today. I know cardboard's cardboard, but it's pretty exciting. So man, thanks for watching, and thanks for the stone.